So here we are again with another retro-influenced indie racer. It feels like there's a new one on the Switch release schedule every week. But does this one do anything to stand out from the pack? I'm Kutski, and this is my review of Formula Retro Racing for Nintendo Switch.
Get ready!
Any retro gamer is going to take one glance at this game and see that it's a love letter to Sega's first 3D arcade racer, Virtua Racing. In many ways, it is, but it's also a lot more. As you would expect, the gameplay at its core is arcade-style action. I've been immersed in a lot of drift-heavy racing games recently, so it was refreshing to actually have to brake on the approach to corners for a change, and the introduction of the damage meter stopped me from barreling into opponents and scraping my way around corners on the guardrails. Formula Retro Racing does feel different to control than Virtua Racing, and not in a bad way. I enjoyed Virtua Racing, but I never really got to grips with the controls in the same way that I did, say, Ridge Racer, Outrun 2 or Sega Rally. I'm sure the purists wouldn't agree, but I actually prefer the way that the cars handle in Formula Retro Racing. There are three main game modes: Arcade, Grand Prix and Elimination. In Arcade mode, you race against both the clock and 20 opponents, fail to reach the checkpoint before the timer runs out and it's game over, reach the finish line within the allocated time and you will be awarded points based on your position. Collect points to upgrade your license and unlock the total of 8 different tracks. Despite the simple low poly look, Formula Retro Racing does a good job of making each track feel unique and memorable, with a variety of colourful locations ranging from city racing to forests, circuit racing, deserts and mountains. Each track is available to race in 3 difficulties too: beginner, advanced and expert, each with their own point rewards, so there's a lot of replayability in this mode and a steady difficulty curve. The Grand Prix mode is similar but without the arcade timer and allows 2 to 4 player local multiplayer too, and the Elimination mode sees you racing lap after lap against increasingly faster rivals until you're eliminated. There are a bunch of different cars to choose from, however the only difference is the aesthetic colour palette swapping. If there's one knock on this game, it would have been nice to see some differently performing cars to experiment with. The performance is great on the Switch version though. I'm not into frame counting so I can't give you a full technical breakdown, but it felt smooth to play and the graphics look great, assuming you're into that sort of style. The sound is fine, but I did feel that the in-game music was a little bit soft and playful at times. I felt a more aggressive pumping dance or metal soundtrack would have complemented the arcade action better, but there's nothing wrong with what's included. I was really excited when Virtua Racing came out on Nintendo Switch, but in reality, I didn't actually play it that much. Obviously, it's a straight port of the arcade experience, but I found after a few goes of each track and a poke around some of the options, I didn't really have much motivation to keep playing. Formula Retro Racing gives me all the same nostalgia, but more fleshed out game modes, more tracks, rewards and unlockables. It actually feels like it could be a worthy sequel to Virtua Racing, or at least how the home console version of it should have been expanded upon. This might be blasphemy to some, but I'd even go as far as to suggest considering buying this over Sega's timeless classic if you're interested in buying one or the other. It should be noted that this is twice the price of Virtua Racing, but at the launch price of £11.99, in my opinion, Formula Retro Racing is worth the extra. Hope you enjoyed this review and found it helpful. If so, please do me a solid and drop a like on the video. Consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to keep up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is Kutski signing out, keeping the games alive.